I want you to imagine something. I want you to imagine waking up and not immediately feeling behind. I want you to imagine not waking up and calculating what you have to do for the day, whether that's a mental calculation or like immediately reaching for your phone to see what's on your calendar and your to-do list for the day. Imagine being able to rest without feeling guilty. Imagine saying no to somebody and not spending the rest of your day feeling guilty about it and constantly replaying the conversation in your head. Figuring out, maybe I could have squeezed that in, maybe I could have done that for said person. Imagine not being everyone's go-to person. Imagine not being everyone's go-to person. Oh God. I felt that one in my soul as a mom of four. I felt that in my soul. Imagine having energy left at the end of the day. Imagine feeling connected to yourself without having to manage everyone and everything around you. And that's what I mean when I talk about from burnout to peace. Listen, and if you're thinking, Julie, that sounds amazing, but there's no way that that's possible for me, that's exactly what I want to talk about tonight with you. Hey guys, I'm Julie Jameson, burnout coach, helping women in burnout, dealing with chronic pain or autoimmune issues, who are tired of living in survival mode and are ready to finally find peace in their lives without feeling the exhaustion and the world on their shoulders anymore, while no longer having to experience any sort of health symptoms. Hey guys, thank you for joining. So what have you already tried to fix your burnout? Let me guess, you've taken the vacation, you've tried to rest more, you've taken the supplements, you've tried a new yoga practice, maybe Pilates, maybe lifting weights, walking, running. Maybe you've tried to meditate. Maybe you've changed your morning routine for the millionth time. Maybe you joined the 5 a.m. club. Maybe you took a day off. That was a big one for me. When I was working 9 to 5, I used to constantly take off Fridays to extend my weekend. And you would think that that helped, but no. When I went back to work on Monday, I felt like I didn't even have a day off on Friday. I was still exhausted. I was still tapped out. I was still hanging on by a string. I was still dragging. Maybe you just kept or keep pushing through because things need to get done, because if I don't do them, who else is going to do them, right? And look, maybe some of these things helped you temporarily. Maybe they helped for a short time, or a day here, a day there, but you were still exhausted. You were still tapped out. You were still dragging. You were still pushing through just to get to the end of the day. You were drinking more coffee. You were sitting an extra minute in your driveway before you walked into your house while the kids are sleeping in the car, because you need to give yourself another minute before you continue with the rest of your night. That was me. And listen, why that is not working long term, because like I said, it could be working here, it could be working there, but it's not sustainable. Why is it not working long term? Because you're trying to solve a nervous system problem with some lifestyle hacks or changes. It's not gonna work. I'm here to tell you the real, it's not gonna work. As much as we want it to work, it's just not gonna work. And I know this because I tried it. I'm a recovering problem solver. Get the job done, superwoman, go getter, overachiever over here. So I get it. I know. You're trying to create peace in your life. Let this sink in. You're trying to create peace in your life while still holding on to the patterns that got you into survival mode. Of course you're exhausted. No wonder you're exhausted. You cannot shift from burnout to peace while still doing the same things that got you to burnout. No matter how much you tweak it, no matter how much you bend it, no matter how much you sprinkle some fairy dust on it, not gonna work. I know this. How? Because I tried it. I tried it. So when you say yes, but you really mean no, you're giving your body the message that boundaries are not safe. When you say yes, but you really mean no, you're telling your body that boundaries are not safe, which keeps your nervous system in survival mode. When you push through exhaustion, you're telling your body that that signal of exhaustion doesn't matter. When you keep pushing through, when you're exhausted, you're telling your body that that feeling of exhaustion does not matter. Which what? Keeps your nervous system in survival mode. When you take responsibility for everyone and their mother, your nervous system continues to stay on high alert. Meaning what? It stays in survival mode. Meaning what? Cortisol levels spike up and they stay spiked up. When you suppress anger, resentment, grief, disappointment, you continue to carry emotional energy that hasn't been processed. And that is a lot for your nervous system to carry constantly. When you don't suppress your anger, your grief, disappointment, resentment, that is a lot for your nervous system to carry. Your nervous system is on overload. You ever seen one of those, like those older movies with the horse carriage and the boxes or whatever they're pulling in the horse carriages are overflowing and like they're falling off the horse carriage? The horse carriage is your nervous system. And it's literally saying, it's too much, it's too heavy. Can we please put some of this down? Can we please release some of these stored emotions in our body? When you tie your worth to productivity, rest is always going to feel like a failure. And this is why we feel uncomfortable when we rest. This is why we can never sit still. This is why, even as we're resting physically, our brains are going at 1,000, thinking about what we need to do tomorrow, the next week, next month, next quarter. Because when you tie your worth to productivity, rest is always going to feel uncomfortable. You're never going to feel like you accomplished enough. When you have the need to be needed, you don't know what to do with yourself when you're not needed, when somebody doesn't need you. Slowing down can feel like you're abandoning everyone around you, everyone that you care about. Mind you, they don't feel abandoned, but this is a story you make up in your head that because I have this need to be needed, every time I slow down, I feel like I'm abandoning everyone. So listen, the problem it's not that you haven't found the right wellness routine or the right wellness practice that fits you or that's tailored to you and that's going to work for you and only you. That's not the problem. You're still operating from the same survival patterns that got you to burnout, exhaustion, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, even autoimmune issues if this has gone on for way too long and it's progressed to that. Because for me, it progressed to chronic pain. It's not about your wellness routine. It's not about how much you can meditate. It's not about how much you can eat well. It's not about how you move your body. It's not about getting another productivity hack or getting a new time management system or learning the new way that you could cram more things into your day. You're still operating from the same survival patterns that got you into survival mode and burnout and chronic fatigue. I want you to stop trying so hard to get better. And I know that that's hard for us. Perfectionists, problem solvers, goal getters, overachievers, super women, the ones that don't take no for an answer, the ones that are caretakers and caregivers, the eldest daughters. That is so hard for us to try not to solve a problem because that's what we're the best at. That's what we're great at. That's our superpower. Stop measuring healing by how much you're accomplishing. Because I used to think because I meditated, because I journaled, because I grounded, because I pulled my tarot decks or oracle cards, because I lit a candle, because I did my moon rituals, because I tended to my altar, because I did all the spiritual things, that I was healing. When I'm doing too much, I was doing way too much. So the counterintuitive thing that you need to start doing is going to be hard. You need to start disappointing people. And yes, you heard right. You need to start disappointing people. You need to start disappointing people. You may need to say no. You may need to cancel something. You may need to go back on your word. Yes, go back on your word. I actually did this, I think it was last year, with my sister-in-law, and I felt bad about it. I really did. But I realized that I just did not have the capacity to do what she was asking me to do. And I knew at the end of the day that there was other people there that could support her in what she was asking of me. Was it hard? Yes, because I don't like to go back on my word. But I needed to do it for my own well-being. I had to put my needs before hers and everybody's in order for my well-being to be where it needed to be. So was it hard? Yes. Did I not want to do it? A part of me felt so bad, but I did it because I knew I had to. You may need to ask for help. Yes, ask somebody else to help you. even if it doesn't turn out the way it would have turned out if you would have done it. Because sometimes done is just enough. You're going to need to let something be imperfect. Another hard one. As perfectionists, as overachievers, I've noticed that many times now that I'm in no longer on burnout, I'm living through a life of peace, that done is better than perfection. Done is good enough. Did you die? Did you die because it wasn't perfect? Did the world crumble because it wasn't absolutely perfect? Were there things that you noticed right away that could have been tweaked and could have been improved? Yes. Did other people notice it? Absolutely not. Why? Because we're so hard on ourselves. You may need to choose yourself even when people do not understand. Again, going back to the story I gave with my sister-in-law. She didn't understand. She was hurt, as she should have been. But I had to choose myself. And listen, I know that that's going to sound terrifying to you. It's even going to feel terrifying to you once you do it. But that is the point of all of this, is we need to do something different to get you out of burnout and survival mode. Meaning you need to do the opposite of what you've been doing. So I'm going to give you 3 shifts that you can do. The first one I spoke about last week on my live on Thursday. You can catch that, the replay of that one as well, where I go deeper. But for time's sake, stop overriding yourself. I want you to start noticing, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? And I want you to do this with your brain. I'm sorry, not with your brain, but with your body. I want you to do these or go through these questions with your body and not your brain. What am I feeling? What do I need? Not what do the kids need, not what does my husband or my partner need, not what does my boss need, not what does my sister, my mom, my father, my brothers, my best friend, my clients, my employees, not what they need, what do I need? And then where am I saying yes when I mean to say no? Where is it in my life that I am saying yes when I mean to say no? And a lot of us know the answers to these questions. The second shift I want you to do is start making decisions based on your capacity. This was a huge one for me. Not, can I technically fit this into my schedule? That's the wrong question to ask a perfectionist, a people pleaser, an overachiever, a superwoman, because of course we can fit it into our schedule. Of course we can jimmy jam it into the schedule. We could squeeze it in there. Of course we can do that. That's what we do best. But that's not the question I want you to ask yourself. Do I actually have the capacity for this? And I'll give you one even better. Does my body have the capacity for this? Does my body have the capacity for this? That is the question I want you to ask yourself when you are making decisions. The third shift is practice tolerating the discomfort of choosing yourself. And this one is huge because you are going to feel so uncomfortable and so bad and so guilty for doing this. Because look, I remember when I was in burnout and I was dealing with my chronic pain and my health issues, when people were like, well, Julie, just set boundaries. And that's easier said than done. It is easier said than done. But when you're talking to a people pleaser, a nurturer, a caretaker, everybody's go-to person, the one who gets everything done, the one everybody can count on, the superwoman, the eldest daughter, the responsible one, the one that always gets shit done no matter what, the one that can move mountains to get it done. When you're speaking to that person and that woman, baby, you're gonna feel guilty. You're gonna feel hella guilty. It's gonna feel uncomfortable. People are gonna get disappointed, and that's gonna make you feel horrible. It's gonna make you feel like shit. You're gonna start questioning yourself. Am I sure that this is what I need to be doing? Oh my God, I feel so bad. Everybody hates me. I'm letting people down. What are they gonna do if I don't help them? Like, this is the stuff that goes on in our heads. And listen, the goal isn't to eliminate the discomfort. The goal is not to eliminate the discomfort before you make the choice. That's not the goal. The goal is to learn that you can survive the discomfort of choosing yourself. Because again, did you die? Did the world crumble? A catastrophic event that happened because you chose yourself? No. Did people survive? Yes. Did people do without you? Yes. Was it done to the best of its ability? Probably not, but that's okay. It got done, right? Isn't that the important part? It got done, and you didn't need to be involved. Would it have been better if you were involved? Probably. Does that mean that you needed to be involved? No. No, it does not. And listen, like I said, I know that this can be hard. Trust me, I've been through it myself. So I'm not just talking to talk. I'm talking out of experience here because I've been there. I've been where you are. I lived it for decades. Okay? But a lot of us know exactly what we need to do, but we keep doing the opposite. A lot of us are aware of the things that we do that are not good for us, but we keep doing them. Why? Because repetition is a bitch. Comfort is a bitch. Our brain loves repetitiveness. Our brain loves routine. And whenever we do something that is out of the routine, it is going to start sounding the alarm of like, nope, alert, 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 alert. What is going on? I don't like this. We need to stop immediately, even if it's good for you. Why? Because it's not used to what you are introducing to it. So knowing awareness isn't the same as changing. Just because you are aware doesn't mean that you're going to choose better. It doesn't mean that you're going to choose better. It just means that you know better. Doesn't mean you're going to do better. It would be easy if it worked that easily, right? But it doesn't. You can find yourself in the moment where you're like, I need rest. I need to say no. I need to have boundaries. I know. I need to stop overcommitting. And still you can find yourself doing exactly what you've always done. And why is that? Because these patterns aren't just intellectual. These are decisions that are coming from your nervous system being in survival mode. These are survival mode patterns that your nervous system is used to. And in order to change those patterns, mind you, these patterns have been going on for years, and for some of us decades, it requires not only awareness, but it requires practice, support, and accountability. So again, imagine what happens when you stop measuring your worth by how much you can accomplish. Imagine having boundaries without spending your whole day feeling guilty about it. Imagine rest without thinking about all the things that need to get done. Imagine rest and being present in the moment without having to think about all the things that need to get done. That's huge. Imagine having energy left for the things that you love to do. Imagine having energy left. Imagine not having to drink 5 cups of coffee throughout the day just to survive. Imagine not constantly having to anticipate everybody's needs. Not just think about what you need to do, but what everybody else needs. That's exhausting. No wonder you're exhausted and burnt out. Imagine waking up and asking yourself, "Oh, this is when I knew that I have entered my era of peace and the soft life." Of asking myself, Julie, what do you need today? Not what does everyone need from me? What do you need today? Imagine waking up and asking yourself, what do I need today? Instead of saying, what does everybody need from me today? Talk about peace. That is the work of returning to yourself. That's what I mean when I say returning to yourself. And this is exactly why I created the Return to Self program. I don't believe that you need a list of things to do. You don't. You need help and assistance and guidance in uncovering the patterns that got you into survival mode. Because those patterns are not the answer to getting you out of survival mode and into a life of peace. It's not gonna work. Trust me, I tried it. From a recovering perfectionist and go-getter and problem solver, I tried it all. So here you're gonna find a link to schedule a next step call for the Return to Self program, and you can get all the information on the program via the link. Schedule your next step call for the program, where we're going to be breaking those patterns that got you into burnout, that got you into chronic fatigue, that got you into chronic pain, into autoimmune issues, and that has your health declining. We're going to break those patterns so that you can finally have your life back, live a life of peace with little to no health symptoms. With little to no health symptoms. Because burnout is not a life that you want to live. Neither does your nervous system or your loved ones. So I wanted to leave you with that. Again, the link is here for you to schedule a next step call for the Return to Self program. Applications are now open, and you'll get all the information that you need on that link. I did want to also make another announcement that my Return to Self paperback journal is now available for sale, and I will provide that link as well. It's 237 pages that will guide you into returning to yourself via an unfiltered journey. And more information, you'll find that on the link as well. This is also available in digital, paperback, and then the bundle as well. So all those links you'll find below. And I am hoping that this conversation serves you in some way. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them here, and I will make sure to get back to you.